Back with you in a bit. A report finds that some Portland police officers are responding to a diversity training video in a troubling way.
Yeah, that report showed evidence of racist language and other bias. Brandon Thompson joined us live. I know you had a chance to look at that, Brandon. Some pretty revealing things in this report.
Yeah, and these responses by officers were part of a training that Chief Lavelle has implemented in order to have better interactions with the queer and trans community. Now, the Bureau's Equity and Inclusion Office has made suggestions to the Bureau to make these trainings more effective, like having them in person, but so far the Bureau has made no indication that they plan to do that. Last year, Portland police officers took part in video trainings, part of Chief Lavelle's directive on finding better ways for officers to interact with members of the queer and trans community. The quarterly compliance officer and community liaison report found that in anonymous responses to the survey, quote, language used in some of the feedback was indicative of racial bias, ableism, and white supremacy ideology. The report notes the chief had not responded to the remarks. In a drafted follow-up report released this month, the authors note, quote, these attitudes and perspectives can come to bear on how PPB members treat members of the Portland community as well as their fellow officers, end quote. The Bureau's Equity and Inclusion Office has pushed for these kinds of trainings to be held in person. The report notes the Bureau has not done that and, quote, the priority given to equity training remains a point of concern for the COCL and something we have been discussing since 2020.
There's a lack of, in my opinion, a lack of prioritization on these issues.
Responding to Coyne's inquiry, PPB Public Information Officer Lieutenant Nathan Shepard says, quote, being quote unquote indicative of could literally mean anything in today's world where almost anything someone says can be offensive to someone else.
I find that response to be very concerning. It is very much a minimizing of the real harm that is actually being inflicted upon people.
The Bureau says Police Chief Chuck Lavelle has not responded to officers over the anonymous responses because the intention of the survey is to get honest responses in order to gauge the work the Bureau has to do. In a statement, Lavelle says, quote, it is always our goal to build relationships and PPB is committed to treating people from the LGBTQI2S+ community respectfully and appropriately. PPB is doing everything we can to prepare and equip our members to have improved relationships with this community. Porta says she's tried for years to work with the Bureau to do that while she's seen statements like this come often. She says she has yet to feel the changes are prioritized.
It's not about the individual officers. It's about the system that they're recruited, trained, and work in.
We reached out to Portland Mayor Ted Wheeler about this. He is the police commissioner. He says he is deeply concerned about these remarks that were made. He is calling on officers to be vigilant and be active bystanders if they see other officers acting in a biased or discriminatory way. Reporting live in Southeast Portland, Brandon Thompson, KOIN 6 News.
Tonight, Legacy